Shooting an overhead piano shot can be tricky, and most people don't think they have the equipment to set it up, but you probably do without realizing it. I've done quite a few overhead shots now, and the first ones weren't that great. So I wanted to share with you some of the basics to save you headaches, and a few different ways to improvise an overhead camera boom stand. So let's go. So here are 5 important areas you want to cover before you start recording. Number 1, overhead camera stand. I don't have an overhead camera stand, you say. Yes, you do. Not everyone has an expensive overhead camera boom stand, so improvise. Mic stands or speaker stands are great. Most musicians have one or both. If you've got a couple of mic stands, get both your mic stands, put one up, put the other one upside down, stretch the legs out, and you've got your overhead. If you're using a GoPro, this is great, but if you don't have a fancy attachment, buy yourself some gaffer tape. There's nothing you can't stick together with this. If you can't hold it together with gaffer tape, you're not using enough gaffer tape. Improvise, be creative. I've done it before. Same applies if you're using a phone. One of these would be fantastic. Put some tape and you're good to go. I'll put links down below to these, or otherwise, lots more tape to hold your phone, GoPro, or whatever camera it is you're using. The other option I use is I just tape it to the top of a microphone stand. Extend it up as high as you can, stretch it out over your piano. Haven't got any microphone stands, you say? Get a couple of brooms, tape them together, and you've got your boom. I'm sure you can improvise some sort of stand to hold it in place. Lots of tape, stick your camera on the end. If you have a will for this, you will find a way. Or maybe you've got a speaker stand and a keyboard stand. A fantastic extension. Hopefully that can spark some creativity to look around your house and see what you can find to create your perfect overhead camera stand. Number 2, lighting. It helps to have good lighting. Some soft boxes or LED panels. I'll put some links down below in case you want to purchase some of this equipment. If you don't have any of these, improvise with what you've got. If you've got a couple of bedside lamps, put them beside your piano, raise them up high so that the angle covers the keys. Or simply use a well-lit room and record during the day when the sun is at its best position. And just remember, if you do have some natural lighting or light that you can't control, try and get the light source to hit directly so that you don't get shadows off the black keys. Ideally, you want to have 2 lights so that one, they angle in and that you don't get any shadows. You want to come in from that angle so that when it bounces off, the light bounces here and doesn't bounce straight into the lens. You should run a couple of tests just to make sure that's not happening. If you're finding that you're getting these bright spots in your camera, then that means that you need to readjust the angle of the lighting so that the angle light hits and bounces off. Experiment and play around to find the best spots. And if you're unsure how much light you need, just remember it's always better to have a little bit more than a little bit less. You can always reduce the brightness in your video editor. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe and hit that little bell icon for plenty more content just like this. Number 3, camera setup. So you've got your camera stand set up, you've got your lights set up. Now let's set up the camera. Try and get the camera directly above middle C and pointing down as straight as possible. Also try and avoid zoom in or wide angle mode. Because what happens when you use a wide angle, it will distort and the piano won't look straight. It would actually look a little bit curved as it goes around the lens. And if you're planning on adding a piano visualizer render underneath the image of your hands, it's even more critical that the angle is nice and straight, directly in the center, and no wide angle zoom. The straighter the camera angle is, the better the original footage will superimpose over the computer rendered piano. Once you have your camera set up, run some tests. Try some different light intensities if you're able to adjust your lighting, or simply move your lights back and forth. See the different results you get and pick the best one. If you're game to play with your camera settings, try experimenting a few different settings there. Take some time to record some test shots and then compare them on your computer monitor, not your phone, on your computer. That way you'll get to see more detail. Number 4, black background. Want to take it up a notch? Create a black background underneath your hands. How? Get yourself some black cloth, put it underneath your piano, get something to stretch it out, try and have it as flat as possible. I actually lift it up underneath. And then I put it above my legs and I'll stretch it out with some tape so it covers both sides and then my legs go underneath. Want to take it up a notch? Wear a black long sleeve shirt when you're recording so that all you see is your hands and not your arms. Number 5. Can't do the whole song in one take without mistakes. If you're like me, when I'm not recording, everything sounds amazing. But as soon as I hit the record button, mistakes appear from everywhere. So if it's a tricky song, what I'll do is I will split it up into sections and I'll create a marker for myself. So let's say I'm recording my song. I will press record, click, intro. I'll play my intro 2 or 3 times, 5 times as long as I need to. Then once I'm happy with the intro, I will start recording the verse. And I'll give myself a marker, verse. And I'll record that as many times as I need to until I'm happy with the verse. Breaking it down into smaller chunks makes it easy to record and you don't feel as pressured. So if you're recording a song in 3 parts, for example, start playing 1 bar before you get to your middle section, so that when you're editing your video footage later, your hands move in the same direction, and the cut between the intro and the verse, the hand movement is the same, so there's no jumps. Make sure that you're marking not only visually with the sign, but also audio and on your MIDI. So if you're recording section 2 of a recording, make sure to mark it on your MIDI as well. Section 2. So that way you have points of reference where you started the second take on your video from your hand movements, on your audio from the music, and your MIDI signal, which will be transmitted to your piano. Because then you will need to align all these sections together in your video format, in your audio format, and in your MIDI format. I hope that helps you get started. Let me know in the comments below how you went, if you have any questions or any other topics you'd like me to cover. If you found this resource helpful, make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And in case you're wondering, this t-shirt is available in Piano Man and Piano Girl as well. And it comes in blue, white, red, black, and there's a couple of other colors as well. It's also available in a 100% recycled fabric version that comes in black and grey. It's available from my store, musicmatterstore.com. Link is down below. Start creating and I look forward to seeing your beautiful piano videos. Bye.